That day, my ex-husband showed up at my parents' house for the first time in 10 years.
We're moving in as a couple here. You're in the way, so get out.
What? Ignoring my astonishment, my ex-husband continued.
My wife, Maria, is pregnant, you know.
Yeah. My ex-husband had left me 10 years ago for a junior colleague.
We just want to create a good educational environment for the child we are expecting. We can make better use of this house than a lifelong singleton like you.
He showed up after 10 years, selfish as ever. Then he threw those incredibly rude words at me, and I just sighed and shook my head. You've got to be kidding. That's impossible.
Huh? You're not even listening to me.
Ted, do you even know who lives in this house now? As soon as the figure appeared behind me, my ex-husband turned pale and started trembling.
Who is this guy?
At that moment, my ex-husband realized he had dug his own grave by carelessly returning. My name is Jennifer. I turned 45 this year. I'm an employee at a restaurant. I seem to be well regarded at work, making steady progress among my peers. I live a peaceful life now, but it took several years and many experiences to get here. The most significant event was divorcing my then-husband, Ted. The reason was Ted's affair. He eloped with Maria, a junior at my company. Maria seemed like a sweet junior at face value, but she coveted what others had. Moreover, she desired anything she deemed valuable, whether it was people or objects. Ted, on the other hand, was friendly and approachable. I was drawn to these qualities in him. Ted took a liking to me as well, and we started dating, introducing him to my family after a while. We were already considering marriage, so we decided to make formal arrangements. My parents and sister liked Ted, and he was charming with them, but then he caught Maria's eye at work. Maria, who was passing by while we were talking at the rest area, looked surprised when she saw Ted's face. Maria was surprised when she saw Ted, as they had known each other from high school and college. Maria started to intrude on my relationship with Ted, joining us not just at work, but in our private lives too. I grew suspicious as Ted and Maria's interactions continued even after our marriage, and their behavior became increasingly odd. They would excitedly discuss topics unknown to me or sneak off together. Ted, did you go out with Maria yesterday? I wish you had told me.
I'll let you know next time.
Ted's distant response gave me a bad feeling. Later, a co-worker invited me to dinner and revealed a shocking truth. Apparently, Ted was entering a hotel with another woman arm in arm. I didn't want to believe it, but when shown photos by my co-worker, I recognized Maria. I had no choice but to believe it and ask my co-worker to send me more photos. That very day, I confronted Ted. What is this, Ted? You and Maria are in these photos.
It's, well...
Ted stumbled over his words, unable to give a straight answer. I turned a blind eye to your outings as colleagues, but I never thought you would betray me like this.
So, that's, well...
The two of you were making a fool out of me, right? Enjoying your dates while excluding your wife? As I pressed on, Ted hung his head in silence and eventually stopped responding altogether. The next day, Ted disappeared as if he was running away. When I woke up the next morning, Ted was nowhere to be found. I called Maria, suspecting something, but got no response. It was 3 days later when I found out Ted and Maria were together. A completed divorce application was sent to the house I lived in with Ted, and around the same time, I received an email from Maria. And in that email from Maria, there was only this one line. Jennifer, I'm sorry. I'll be happy with Ted. A single email like this was, of course, not something I could accept. But I had no way to protest, so I didn't know their whereabouts or how to contact them. It seemed Ted had also resigned from his job, so I lost that connection too. Feeling utterly helpless, I eventually agreed to the divorce. For a while after that, I was in despair and couldn't recover. I couldn't believe my husband had run off with a junior colleague. I couldn't accept that reality. But I couldn't stay down forever, so I decided to channel my unresolved feelings and frustrations into my work. Immersing myself in work allowed me to forget about Ted and Maria. Fortunately, my contributions to the company were recognized, and I was given a higher position. I was blessed with good relationships, and within 2 to 3 years after Maria and Ted eloped, I started to live a stable life. Now, 10 years after Maria and Ted disappeared from my life, Something happened on a day I had off from work. I woke up late in the morning and was just about to get out of bed to make some food when my mobile phone placed by my pillow suddenly rang. It was a call. Looking at the screen, I saw an unregistered number. Normally, I wouldn't answer, but I impulsively picked up, still groggy from sleep. Hello? As soon as I tentatively spoke, an unexpected voice came from the other end.
Oh, Jennifer, long time no see. It's me, Ted. How have you been? Glad you're still using this number?
Ted? It was my ex-husband, Ted, on the phone. I was so surprised I almost fell out of bed. Ted, why are you contacting me now after 10 years?
Cold, aren't you? Whether it's 10 years or 20, we're still exes, right? I thought I would reach out.
Ted said this laughing as if nothing was wrong. His attitude, laughing it off as if nothing had happened, reignited the anger I thought I had forgotten. What do you mean by exes? Are you out of your mind? I'll ask you again, why are you contacting me now?
Hey, calm down. You always get irritated so easily. That hasn't changed.
Ted's casual tone, as if he was mocking me, only made me more irritated. Though I didn't say it, perhaps sensing it over the phone, Ted finally got to the point.
All right. You're living in your parents' house now, right? Can you pack your stuff and leave soon? Sorry it's sudden, but Maria and I decided to live there.
I couldn't make any sense of it. How could anyone think like that?
The thing is, Maria and I got married. She's recently pregnant. We want to create a good environment for our child.
So you're telling me to leave?
Of course, you won't refuse, right? I'm actually being nice here. If you stay there forever, you can remarry.
I felt a headache from the anger and disbelief. To think he would contact me after 10 years with such an absurd request? Indeed, as Ted said, I had returned to my parents' house. I don't know how he found out, but that's a fact. You think I'll agree to such a thing?
Huh?
Why should I happily vacate my parents' house for you two? Are you stupid? You must be. As I sharply retorted, Ted seemed to get upset and snapped back in a harsh tone.
Huh, sorry. I guess at 45 and infertile, you wouldn't be able to remarry anyway.
I had never gotten pregnant while married to Ted. He must be referring to that, but what a rude way to say it. Really ridiculous. Is that all you wanted to say? I won't give you this house, and even if you come, I won't let you in. I hung up the phone unilaterally. I didn't want to talk to Ted anymore. Such selfishness. Cheating and eloping and now demanding the house. I was hoping he would give up, but a few days later, another incident happened. The day was busy from the morning and I didn't get a lunch break until after 1 p.m. After finishing lunch at my favorite cafe near the office, I entered the building's entrance and spotted a familiar man. Can't be. Why is he here? It was Ted. He had gained a lot of weight compared to 10 years ago, but it was unmistakably him. I tried to hide, but it was too late. He had already seen me. Ted rushed over as soon as he saw me.
Oh, there you are. I've been waiting. About our previous conversation. When can you move out? Preferably by next month?
I don't know what you're talking about. I already refused that. It's unbelievable that you would come all the way to my office. It's unpleasant. So please leave immediately.
You're still saying that? Surely it makes more sense for our family and our upcoming child to live in that house than for you to stay there alone, right?
Just stop it. No matter how much you ask, it's impossible. And don't drag me into your selfish actions after cheating and eloping. As I spoke forcefully, Ted finally furrowed his brow and raised his voice.
What did you say? I cheated because you were infertile. If you had been able to have children, I wouldn't have cheated. It's all your fault, so provide a place to live.
Are you serious? This is too ridiculous. I have work and need to go. If you stay here any longer, I'll call security. Ted seemed about to say more, but noticing the stares of those around us and my threat to call security, he left the entrance with a parting shot. I thought that would make Ted give up, but I was proven wrong. A week after he visited my office, I was relaxing with a game app at home after work. Then the doorbell suddenly rang. I wasn't expecting anyone, but I decided to check. I was speechless and bewildered when I saw who it was.
Hey, Jennifer, is your packing done? I came here directly because you didn't contact me.
It was Ted and Maria. I just wanted them to stop. I hurried to the front door and opened it with force. Jennifer, long time no see. You heard from Ted, right? I'm pregnant. I'll let you spoil the child once it's born. Ted glaring and Maria with an eerie smile. I sighed heavily at the two of them. Aren't you looking tired? Well, never mind. Listen, I'm pregnant, which is great, but we have no money. So let us live in this house, okay?
Maria said, looking up pleadingly. Then Ted chimed in. Also, I recently realized this house isn't yours, right? Are your parents inside? Let me talk to them. It's their first grandchild, after all. They'll surely welcome us.
Ted's selfish words made me burst out laughing. He didn't know. Why are you laughing? That's rude. Hurry up and call your father and mother. Huh? Do you really not know who lives in this house? Your so-called mother and father aren't here anymore?
Huh?
Indeed. My parents no longer live here. After I returned home following the divorce, my parents gifted me this house and moved to live near my mother's childhood home. So I'm the owner of this house. When I revealed this fact, both Ted and Maria's eyes widened in shock. Understand, this house is mine and I have all the decision-making power. Your selfish plans end here. I clearly stated my position, but Ted still persisted.
Then, how about you let us move in with you? Come on, let's live together like old times, the three of us. It'll be great.
Ah, that's a great idea. Jennifer, it must be lonely living in such a big house all by yourself, right? If we live together, everyone will be happy. The two of them, still stuck in their selfish plans, came up with this absurd idea. As I was about to retort in dismay, someone called out from behind me.
What's all this noise, Jennifer? Something going on?
Seeing the person who appeared behind me, Ted and Maria suddenly fell silent and turned pale. Are you serious?
Who is this guy?
Sorry for the noise, but you have come at just the right time. See, these are the ex-husband and junior colleague I told you about. It was my current husband, George, and in his arms was our son. George looked at Ted and Maria, grunted, and then greeted the confused pair.
Good evening. You must be Ted and Maria? I'm Jennifer's husband, George, and this is our son. Cute, isn't he?
Ted and Maria were at a loss for words. They were clearly shocked. In fact, I had remarried. I met George through a friend at work a year after divorcing Ted. Things progressed quickly with George and we married in less than 6 months. Soon after, I became pregnant with our son. Now, I balance work and homemaking. George helps with housework and childcare, so I've been able to advance smoothly in my career. I think you can see now that there is no room for you two in our lives. My husband, son, and I are a happy family of 3.
What, Jennifer? I thought you were infertile. It can't be. Are you lying?
Ted sat down, holding his head. How could you, Jennifer, marry such a handsome man? That's not fair. Not fair. Maria stomped her feet in frustration. Then George looked down at them with a cold gaze and said,
Whatever you two think, that's the situation. Now please leave. If you ever come near my precious family again, I'll call the police. Got it?
Scared by George's presence and the mention of the police, Ted and Maria fled, faces still pale and with a pitiful shriek. 2 days later, Ted called me again, wanting to end this once and for all. I was about to hang up and block his number, but after being harassed at work, I decided to listen to his final say and answered. What do you want now? George already told you to stay away, didn't he?
Don't say that, please. Maria and I have nowhere to go. We're living in a hotel and we're out of money. We can't even return to our parents' homes.
Ted said that after they eloped, they resigned from their jobs and lived off part-time work. But after Maria got pregnant, Ted had to cover all the living expenses, leading to financial and physical hardships. Remembering me, they planned to sweet-talk me into leaving my house. However, their plan failed due to George and our son's presence. They tried relying on Ted's parents, but they had been disowned after the elopement scandal 10 years ago. It's a natural reaction.
Please, I'll do anything to make up for what happened 10 years ago, so...
It's too late now. Goodbye. After hearing his troubled state, I hung up and blocked his calls and emails. This was the last time Ted and Maria appeared before me. Later, I heard from a mutual friend that Ted, undeterred, cheated again. It turns out Maria's pregnancy was a complete lie, a ruse to get me out of the house. Ted, unaware of the truth, felt betrayed when he realized there was no pregnancy. He had eloped for a child, and with no child in sight, he saw no need for Maria. and repeated infidelities due to his desire for a child. Ted and Maria broke up after a big fight. I later received a letter from Ted stating he was diagnosed with male infertility and regretted the elopement. I ignored the letter, and George, in a fit of anger, tore it up and threw it in the trash. There were no more letters after that, whether Ted gave up or never expected a reply. After being tossed around by my selfish ex-husband after 10 years, I decided to forget about it and move on with my own life. Now I live peacefully with my kind and caring husband, George, and our adorable son.